Right now, you're losing clients because you're not tracking your leads. In this video, I'm going to give you the exact pipeline so you never lose a warm lead again. Great to see you here again. My name is Rihanna. I'm a pediatric sleep consultant, postpartum doula, and the author of the Sleep Consultant Playbook. I helped more than 500 sleep consultants in the past years to start, grow, and scale their business. And if you hit subscribe, I'm going to make sure I'll send you a message when the next video is going to be here specifically for sleep consultants. All right, so this is the situation. You have a great sleep assessment call, and the parent says, let me think about it. So you make a note to follow up, 2 weeks pass, you forget, and she books with someone else. And this is happening quite often. Sleep consultants who follow up consistently will always outconvert sleep consultants who are technically better, but assume that no response means no interest. Now, a pipeline is exactly what makes that consistent follow-up possible without depending on your memory. It shows exactly where every person is in their journey on any given moment when you have been talking to them. So this is the full journey, stage by stage. And if any questions are coming up while you're watching this, just drop them in the comments below. So the first thing is leads. So this is when someone downloads your lead magnet or you have a conversation on social media or anywhere else or in person, and you add them to your leads list. So if it is about the lead magnet, you want to have a lead sequence set up, a nurture sequence with a campaign and emails. So you don't need to personally track every subscriber. But once they've finished their nurture sequence, you want to be aware of that and making sure that if they still haven't booked, that is your signal to follow up with them. So the next one is call booked, because that is your next big step, right? So the moment someone books, move them in your pipeline. And ideally, you want this to be automated, this process. So the moment they book a call, that they're automatically going to that stage. And you also want to have reminder messages going out, like at least 24 hours before the call and 1 hour before the call. And again, you want to preferably have all of this automated, so you don't have to be worrying about that. And then after the call ends, there are usually 3 different situations that might happen. So the first one is yes, they are ready to move forward. So what happens when it's a yes? They need to be sent a proposal. And another option that could be is that they said, I'm going to put it at a maybe. Not right now, it means. Like they're interested, but they're not sure. And so for this group, you want to make sure that you follow up with them. Right? And this is where a lot of people are missing out on leads because they don't follow up. They think they will or they do, and then the longer the time frame, the more uncomfortable they feel about following up. And I'm explaining at the end of this video a little bit what kind of messages you could send for this. And then the third option is they didn't show up. No show. And also this you want to track. And we don't want to assume that that means a no. Again, this is happening a lot and a lot of people missing leads from this because they assume, okay, they didn't show up, so they don't really want it or they don't care. No, life happens, things happen. And so a no-show is absolutely worth a follow-up. And I would suggest within the couple of hours after the appointment that you had set, and send out a very kind message, because like I said, it doesn't mean that they had not the intent to show up. And sometimes things happen. I had one time, and that was just such a wake-up call for me. There was one time that I didn't, and that was one of my first times. And I was like, well, I didn't say disappointed. I think I wrote something like, I'm sad you didn't show up for the call. I was ready and I was waiting for you. Something like this. It was a bit guilt-tripping them. Then I got a message back. Yeah, sorry, I needed to rush to the hospital. My daughter got whatever happened in that moment. And that was for me like, oh my gosh, never assume that they had not the intent to show up. Something might happen. So again, at the end of this video, I'm going to explain what kind of messages you could send. But here also, you want to do a follow-up. And make sure to offer to reschedule, because that's in the end what we want, right? So we go back to call booked, and then hopefully then they're going to say yes, and then the proposal can be sent. So like I said, these are the stages where a lot of sleep consultants are losing revenue. The not yet, right now, or not right now, or the ghosted, or the no-show. So from the proposal, we want them to pay, right? Because before they pay, You can think that you have a client, but you don't. They need to pay. And so you want to track this. So make sure that if they stay in this stage, that you follow up on them and see what's going on. So send a gentle check-in. And then when the payment arrives, they move automatically to the delivery side of your pipeline. So now they are in the onboarding process. Again, you want to have this automated so that if they decide to pay at 2 a.m., you don't have to be worried that you need to be awake to send them emails and send them the questionnaire and the consultation call link and all that kind of stuff. So you want to have this somehow automated. And so they move on and they should receive, so this is their onboarding process. And they receive an email, and in the email they have like the questionnaire, so they can get started with that. And they have the consultation call link, so they can already book that. Now make sure that the consultation call link cannot be booked 72 hours before the moment that they see the link. So you have your 3 days to write your sleep plan and prepare for the family, go through the questionnaire and all these kind of things. Then from the onboarding, they become an active client, right? And an active client means that you're currently working with them. And again, you can split this up in maybe consultation call 1, consultation call 2, so you know exactly where people are. Again, in the beginning of your business, when you have a couple of clients, you can track everything from memory. But over time, when you start having more and more conversations with people, this is going to get harder and harder. So you want to have this set up very well. And then when the active support phase ends, this is also where a lot of sleep consultants stop. But here's actually where a lot of value is, because this relationship that you've built can generate new clients. So the first stage after the active client is the testimonial. So usually what I have this split up into testimonial asked and testimonial received. So I can keep track of this. So again, on Mondays, I'll check like, okay, who is still in the ask phase? And I send them a reminder. Again, people have no bad intent to not leave you a testimonial. Life just takes over. So you make it as easy as possible for them. And then received. And then the final stage, you want to get them to become referral partners. And a referral partner is somebody who is representing you and your business, and they're explaining it to, this sounds very official, they explain to families and friends and people that they know about their experience working with you and promoting your services to other families. And if they do that, what happens? You can cut out a huge process of your sales pipeline, because most often they just jump on immediately on a scheduled sleep assessment call, or they immediately pay. So this is a huge shortcut. And I really want you to understand the power that is in referrals, because a single raving fan, a referral partner, can generate more new leads than months of social media posting. So really emphasize this part and focus on that. Now, I promised you we would go over on what to do those 3 situations that feel like rejection, but usually are not. All right, so let's dive into that. Yes, so a parent who said the timing isn't right in March may be fully ready in May. Or a parent who didn't respond to your proposal may have just been completely overwhelmed, or something happened at home. So without a pipeline, you have to remember who said what and when. And that is just impossible once you start having more and more leads and more clients. But if you have a pipeline like this, you check your follow-up column every Monday, and now exactly you know who needs a message. Do you see now that the people who show interest but haven't heard back from you represent future revenue? And many of them are converting within 3 to 6 months. So if you don't track this, you will always feel lead poor when actually you're follow-up poor. Now let's talk about how to handle those 3 situations that feel like rejection but usually aren't. If you have a no-show, almost always it has a reason. A nap ran long, a meeting overran, they got the time zone wrong. So this is what I suggest you send. I missed you on our call today and I hope everything is okay. Would you like to find another time that works? Something approachable. If you have somebody who's ghosting you, they often go quiet because they feel overwhelmed with the decision or something came up in their family. So wait 3 to 5 days and then send one more message. I wanted to check in on the proposal that I sent. Is there anything you'd like to go over? And when somebody says not right now, this is one of the most valuable stages you have, because these parents already told you they are interested. So when you follow up weeks later, reference to the original conversation that you had. Maybe like, I was thinking about you and what you shared about wanting to switch Sarah to her own bedroom and wanted to see how things are going for the moment. Sentence like that shows that you not only remembered them, but really remembered them as a person with their story. So how do you actually track this? So there are 3 options. You can recreate what we've just set up on a piece of paper. You write the stages across the top, you move a sticky note for each person. So it's 0 learning curve, but there are also no automated reminders. So this is not really handy once you get beyond a couple of leads. You can also do a spreadsheet. You can add columns for the names, the stages, the last follow-up, and this works well, especially in the first year of your business. Or you can create a visual pipeline inside your business platform. You can drag and drop context between stages, you can set reminders, everything connects to your email and your scheduling automatically. So you can take a look at sleeppro.io if you want to have more information about this. So, set up your pipeline this week and add every person you're currently in conversation with, or that you remembered you were, to this pipeline. And then check it every Monday. That habit alone will recover your leads that you didn't even know you had. And if you want help applying this to your own sleep consulting business, I host free live mentorship calls just for sleep consultants. So you can use the link in the description below to register, and I'll send you the Zoom link. So if this video was helpful, make sure that you're subscribed so you get a notification when the next video is going out. See you there. Bye.